Hello, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 3 of Your Mom's Podcast, the only podcast that's worth walking out on a date with one of Degrassi's coolest girls. I'm Avis.
And I'm Caroline.
And today we're talking about Degrassi, Season 3, Episodes 4 and 5, Pride, Parts 1 and 2. Roses are red. Today I'm struggling with rhymes. Marco is a victim of several hate crimes. When Ellie refuses to be Marco's beard any longer and breaks the news to the group that they've broken up, Spinner becomes suspicious and presses the issue until he basically bullies Marco into coming out. Over at the Nelson Simpson household, Snake's common cold has some unsettling symptoms that look a lot like leukemia. So I think in our normal fashion, we can talk about the B plot. Um,
Yeah, it's a heavy B plot.
It
This is a
is.
heavy
This is
episode
a
throughout,
heavy
which
episode. We don't get much like it. I
I
like
feel like
the
this is the
pre.
first time they've really done that to us.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you thought that you were just getting a lighthearted episode about snake
Hate
crashing,
crimes?
a hate crime, but no, you're getting snake crashing, Craig and Ashley's romantic weekend, only to discover that snakes probably got leukemia. Oh, wait, he definitely does. It's hinted
Right.
like the band-aid zoom in, the dolly
Mm-hmm.
zoom on the band-aid.
Should we be tracking dolly zooms?
I don't know that they continue, but like I kind of want to track dolly zooms because it's been a thing since episode or since
Since
season
season one, since
one. So
Ashley, your
Ashley's
dad
dad
is
is gay.
gay. Ooh.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's been a while. So I think this might be something that they're just like, you know what? Fuck it. Like
Right.
let's just keep this the good times going, whatever that sound is. Let's how what do you say we keep these good times going? I don't even know where that's from.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
It's a sound that
But no,
I
this
keep hearing on social media. I do not participate in the TikTok, so I get my little short videos from Reels on Facebook. So, like
it's just TikToks.
anybody over 28.
Fuck you, I'm 35. I love TikTok.
I do not participate in the TikTok, Caroline. I just have
You're
one
missing
for
out.
optics. I
You're missing
know.
out.
I tried it, but my algorithms they don't know who I am, so they're not giving
You
me the
gotta
things
let
I
them know
need.
who you are.
But I don't want to. I want to be anonymous. They're like throwing everything at me and nothing's sticking. But
Okay,
yeah,
well, that's fine.
it's
No, social
fine.
media is a
It's
time sucking cesspool. It's also a beautiful place. It's this weird combination. Back to the B plot. It is, though. It's the first time I feel like where we just get a full on heavy episode. And
yeah.
there's some comedic relief in, like, yeah, Snake's got cancer, but he's still going to be Snake about it.
He
Snake's got cancer up the wazoo.
I am the king of the slaloms, the master of the slopes, and he just like, oh my gosh, Snake is so heartbreaking though, because it's like, why do they always target like the heart of the show to get cancer or die?
Because would you care that much if Raditch had leukemia?
Okay, but Raditch isn't even a big deal.
Would you care that much if Joey had leukemia?
Probably not.
Would you care that much if
And I'm so
Spike had
sorry, Angie.
leukemia?
I'm so sorry, Spike. I would not give a fuck. You're right. Caitlyn
Like,
can shoot
would you care
herself
if
up a pole. She can shoot.
it
I
would
might
be
care. I might care if Sydney has cancer, but that's just because I think she's hot.
also Sydney
Now
did nothing wrong.
she did.
Sydney's great. All
She did
like
nothing wrong.
she's doing her. I feel like because you got to keep in mind, and it's weird because they still feel older than me to me, and I think it's because of like the styling of the 90s and the early aughts of like
Yeah. And
you
like
know
the fact that like products that like people weren't highlighting the same way, people weren't like like
Mm-hmm.
we really just
But
we've come a long
but
way, guys.
Sydney's what? Like Sydney's not even 30 yet.
She's mid to mid to late 20s, tops. And I would go heavy on the mid, because I think
Yeah.
she's supposed to be like, but even though
Is she a
she's,
little younger than Joey?
I think she's younger than Joey, because Joey said, like, I woke up in my 30s, but like he's like max 32 at this point,
Right.
right? He's not.
Well, but so okay, so here's the thing about Sydney
He's graduated
is
in
so
8
Sydney's
99.
like 26. Sydney's a
92.
go-getter. She's a career woman.
Yeah.
Joey is Sydney's last like slumming it before she like
I think
really
you've
gets serious about her life. I probably
You
have.
said you like you, and I think that this is pretty on brand with her, though. The term slumming it is one of those things. I think it was said on one of our trivia episodes, just like husky, that I really hadn't heard. I haven't heard that.
That's fair.
I
That's
haven't heard
fair.
that term in
But
a
it
long time, but people used to use that term so often. But like, I mean, I think in this context it is pretty like on brand with this, with she's just so clearly better than him in like multiple ways.
so clearly better than him.
Intellectually, she surpasses him. Like,
She's a better parent
she's a
than
better
him.
domestically, she surpasses him. Physically, she surpasses him. He's not ugly, but like, come on.
Yeah,
You're
no,
batting
that's
out of
it.
your league, man. And he gets a lot of like
Joey is
attractive girls because he's funny. And being funny is very attractive, I have recently learned. And I haven't recently learned this, I've always known this, but it is a thing that when someone said that, I was like, oh, because they're like, oh, why can average looking guys who are like comedians get really hot girls? It's because being funny is sexy.
yeah.
So that's why Joey gets ass that looks like fucking Sydney. And Caitlyn. Caitlyn's not ugly. She's just
No,
annoying.
Caitlin's a babe. She
She's just
just
fucking
sucks.
annoying and sucks in like personality wise. Just her personality is like, wait, what is she when she's a 10 but her personality is a 5?
Seriously. Okay, we are so off topic
We
again though.
kind
So
of
that
are
but it
adjacent to the topic now.
we're at
But
least
yeah.
talking about Degrassi. But yeah, no, Snake, it has to be Snake
Mhm.
because who else are you gonna like yes,
I'm
you'll
not
be
going to
sad.
care
You
as
don't
much
want
if it's, yeah.
anybody to get cancer, but you're not gonna care the way you're gonna care if it's Snake.
And that's fair.
The
And
only
I
other
mean,
person would be Lucy, and even then, she's not
she's
pulling. Like
not
that's just
even,
because we love
we
Lucy.
love Lucy, and they'd be like, "Who the fuck is that?" This is just my random person voice of the day, so far. But no, I definitely feel like it sucks to have that dolly zoom on his band aid at the, towards the middle, towards the end, I think, of Pride, because it's like, okay, we're gonna, or the part one, we're gonna get some bullshit in part two. And it's just like saddle up. And then I'm sad because he's got a baby and he's got a wife, and it's
And he's got
just,
an Emma,
and Emma. I meant to say kids, but I think
and
to
I
emphasize a baby, like, if he, those things like, oh, he never knew his father because his father died before he could
yeah, no, and that's
form the
definitely very
memory.
tragic. I was talking more the stressor of having an Emma for Snake.
Oh,
Like, and I
well,
get
yeah.
it's really scary that your dad, who like you also just got a dad,
Mhm. Yeah,
and
no,
now he has
that's,
cancer and
yes.
he seemingly doesn't care about it. But also, like, I don't know, Emma
It's
cannot. Emma has a really hard time seeing experience that isn't her own,
mhm.
and it
Absolutely.
shows here.
Yeah. She I think that she's just. Uh, uh, I have a hard time being angry with her in, like, not in this context. I think that she kind of does. things that like are relatable in her
Oh,
situation, like you said.
I'm not angry with Emma at all. It's more just that, like, how do I put this? At any given time,
Hmm.
Emma is going to do something that certainly makes sense and that, like, you can understand and sympathize with.
Yeah.
But I can't think of a time where Emma does, like, the best thing in the situation, or even, like, a not so damaging thing in a situation. Like,
Yeah.
you never see Emma being as good as you would like her to.
Yeah. That's true. You would like I- they just write her in a way that it can be hard to kind of 100% be on her side.
Mhm.
It's just like, okay, you've got some right to be acting this way, but I think that her being snooty to Manny, um, even though it's like, okay, some people are dealing with things other than what you've got going on. Someone's always dealing with something that you don't know about. It's not an excuse to like, and I mean, she's having emotions that she can't really process. So I get that too. It's like like I said, it's hard for you to like be angry with her, but it's also like you're not 100% right. You know, I can't condone your actions just because you've got cause to
It's
feel.
not even I can't condone your actions. It's just I would like you to do better and be better.
Well, I
Do
always
better.
want these girls to be I always want
But Emma especially. I
Emma
find
needs
myself
to
wanting Emma to do
do
better.
better, Emma, as you always want everyone else to do. But yeah, she's pretty much going through knowing some stuff that her mom doesn't know uh in this episode again.
Yeah, yeah, the communication has not gotten much better.
After the fucking baby and the wedding, nothing. All this time we haven't talked about being able to talk to each other before our teenage daughter gets in the mix. Like we haven't quite figured out that dynamic yet.
I think too though, like Emma just inserts herself into the mix.
Always. But Craig also brings her into it because Craig
Yeah,
realized that, or
something's
what,
not
not
right.
realized, yeah, he's like, yeah, like that's not normal. And I mean, Ashley's a fucking potato once again, like barely
Well,
saying
and
shit.
I don't know that we know what kind of cancer killed Julia, but don't we know that she died from cancer?
Yes, she died from cancer. Yeah, it's
It could
possible
have
that
been
Craig,
leukemia.
yeah, right, it could have been leukemia or even if it wasn't, it could have similar symptoms that Craig recognizes that. I don't know. I'm not sure of. I know that because leukemia is a blood cancer, it does that excessive bleeding and stuff is a sign
Yeah.
of it, but I do know that it can be a sign of like your body not being able to fight off or heal itself properly if you have a cut that won't heal. Like your
Hmm.
body is weak and your immune system is weak, so I think that can in itself can be an indication of cancer or some other underlying condition where your body just isn't functioning properly. So I mean, either way, it's clear that something was wrong, and Craig didn't feel like he doesn't have access to. I mean, no one has fucking access to Spike. She just hides in the house with the baby, and then no one knows where Spike is. So he has access to Emma, so he tells Emma, and now Emma's involved.
Hmm.
And I mean,
Yeah, I
Snake
guess we
has
can't
already
really
told
blame
her to butt
Snake or
out.
Spike for that.
Yeah, I mean, we can't blame, but then she also she stayed in the middle of it. She didn't communicate like, "Hey, I think he's really sick because of X, Y, and Z."
Yeah,
Like I
I don't
was
know.
told by
It's
my friend. That's some shit. Like I just have to think about like 13-year-old me. If my friend had in some context seen my dad fall over and then like and he wasn't drinking, like I
right.
would talk, I would like tell my mom because number one, that's not my person. Like that's not my place. I can't do shit about that. But Emma is just so much the super duper 13-year-old that she feels like she can handle these matters on her own. And she just needs to talk to her dad about it. But it's like,
Mm.
you've already talked to him and he's told you that you're overreacting.
Yeah.
Like, you've
Yeah, no,
already
Emma needs to
expressed
stop
concern.
overstepping.
Yeah,
And
like she
she's
just needs
never
to
ever going to.
she just needs to
Everything is
play the
Emma's
adolescent
business.
role. Everything is her. I think, and like, I think we have this theory about her being burnt out by the time she gets to actual adulthood. It's because she's trying to take on the burdens of adulthood before she's an adult. I would just pass
Mhm.
that buck. I'm passing the buck. I'm 13. This is not my problem. This is not my business. I am fucking trying to do Cheetah Girls choreography up in my bedroom. I'm not fucking around with this shit. Like, I don't have, like, I this is not my capacity, because by the time she reaches like actual adulthood, she just has no fucking energy or capacity for it, and she
Right.
bombs miserably because, like,
She
in
just
addition to
wants to like
everything else,
blaze.
yeah, like, just, do you want to like play? It's so bad. Like, Emma, you are 13. You don't need to be taking on the weight of your parents, like, like, marriage in a sense. Like, this is a marital issue. This is not something
Mhm.
that you need to like s- bear the weight of, or bear. I mean,
I
she
mean,
should be informed about it, but she doesn't
how do
need to
you
be.
not bear the weight of your dad has cancer?
But
And
like,
it
of
feels to you like
knowing,
nobody's taking it seriously.
yeah. But I
Like,
feel
no,
like
I
the
feel for
role
Emma
that
in
she
this
takes in
episode. I
it,
just
yeah.
don't
But
like her.
does she not, does she go and tell Spike, or does,
I think Snake tells Spike. I think we just don't find that out on screen.
I was gonna say, but like, I find it, I don't think I usually put myself in the position of these kids because I am now an adult and I don't really remember that mindset. But I just remember my unwillingness to grow up, and maybe that was just how I was raised, of where I was. My mom definitely sheltered me in a way, so I did not grow up before my time. I did a lot of things pretty much when I decided, okay, I want to do these things, not because I felt pressured or because I wanted to do, like, I don't know. I didn't take responsibility before I needed to, essentially. So I don't know why she was so willing to be like, I'm going to bear the brunt of knowing this secret, or, because she has to assume it's a secret. Like, how would Spike know that?
Well, okay. Well, so here's the thing: is that like I don't think that Spike doesn't know. I mean, like it's possible that Emma found out about the falling down before Spike,
Yeah.
but after that, like I don't. You don't just like. I mean, I guess people do, but like Snake's not gonna just not let Spike know that he might have leukemia.
Well, yeah, he'll let her know. I think that for me, it's just like she's often the one who she often feels like she has to be um the only one involved. Psychologically, she's like the main player. She doesn't let
Yes.
her mom have room in her psyche to help her or soothe her until like she's ready for it, or until the situation, because she does, I don't know, I feel like she, as an adolescent, should seek comfort in her mother, should seek some comfort in, this is out of my depth, I'm going to defer to an adult. And I guess maybe to an extent the show doesn't want her to do that, because they want her to begin to take these things by the horns by herself, and to an extent, like, have an emotional reaction to it that is cultivated by her own perceptions and feel, like, have her process this on her own without her mother helping. But like, I
Mhm.
just feel like as a 13-year-old, I probably would have told my mother and we would have processed it together. I don't know that I was ready to like know that my dad collapsed and my fears about him, my anxieties about him being sick are true. Like, but maybe she feels like, okay, my mom's already busy with the newborn. Like, I don't know that this is something that she can handle. Like, she's always trying to parent her mother. So like,
Mhm.
there could be that in there. Like, what a parentification. There's a lot of that going on with Spike and her.
There's a
She
lot of that. And I feel like there's been a lot of that for a very long.
For a very long time, their dynamic is so classic. Like, even the one of the first lines she said, she's like, "Hello, can we try asking before knocking before entering or whatever?" And it's just like, or asking, and then no, asking before trespassing on the computer. And it's like, this is not your computer. You did
I don't know.
not
It's in
buy
her fucking.
this.
It's in her bedroom. I think you have, because if for no
She
other
has a
reason
right
than
to
that it's in her
privacy
bedroom, she has a right
expectations.
to say, like, you can't just be in my room without me knowing that you're in my room.
All the more a solid case for a computer room. What are you doing, Spike? It is the early aughts. You should have a fucking computer alcove in your living room like everybody else. I mean, mine
She's
was
a
in the
single
dining
mom. She
room.
can't afford that.
Mine was in my dining room in the left hand corner near the air conditioning. And there was a dining room table in there too. Okay, we made do. That corner was in that fucking computer was in the corner, and I used to sit there and I used to watch TV too on the computer because
Dude, when
my
back when the computer room had to be the coldest room in the house,
it was near a window. Yeah, it was on. Get a little
we had
sweater.
two computers because there were four of us kids.
Okay.
And you know, the my stepbrother Andy and I are like the same age, so we were in
Mhm.
the same grade. We had middle school homework,
Mhm.
and then the younger brothers would like need it on occasion.
Mhm.
And it was just, it had like two air conditioners and a fan. It was beautiful. I loved that room.
Beautiful room. Actually, it even when it moved up, when like the living situation changed and my we had an extra room, it moved into the middle room, and that was a very cold room. Even it was a very chilly room. So I mean, essentially, obviously, Snake has dark humor, but the fact that he has cancer is that's the cap of the B plot. He has cancer. Emma is her abandonment issues return and asking him, "Are you gonna beat it?" And he's obviously gonna try his darndest. Um, but that's where we are left with Snake and good old M. But to transition into the A plot, we find Marco's bearded journey with Ellie has come to a screeching halt in it.
It starts with like the worst beach trip in the history of beach
It's
trips.
like a London beach day, like like an English countryside, an English beach day, which like it's so overcast. And I mean, I've been to the beach in California where it's overcast like this, in like Santa Monica, and it's actually very dreary. So I mean, a beach in Toronto, which I didn't know they had beaches in Toronto. I'm not good at geography. It just looks like the worst. Ellie's my vibe for this kind of beach day. She's got um her little parasail in the back. And she's reading her book. She is covered from head to toe in clothing because it is
She's not
cold.
getting no sun damage
She's
today.
getting zero sun. She is not here for your fucking SPF nor your damaging UV rays. So yeah, she said fuck that. But yeah, so she's done with this whole beard thing with Marco, and Marco is literally like fucking ogling Dylan the entire time. Dylan being
He's
my
so not
oldest brother's
sly.
gay. Tara, I was just trying to help.
Paige Milkelchuk. Oh, we need to
Paige
make that for the
Milkelchuk.
merch store. Don't let
Oh
me forget that.
god, with her the screen cap of her like this is Paige Milkelchuk. Oh, it's gotta be. But yeah, so we finally meet the infamous oldest brother, Dylan, and he is hot, for like I think for Marco, for seeing anybody who he knows is outwardly gay, he's like, this is Adonis.
Yeah, no, he's very like all American Greek Gotti.
Mm-hmm.
He's an athlete. He's got this beautiful, like perfect curly blonde hair that like
Yes.
looks just like
Yes.
sun kissed and
If I
like
was casting for an Abercrombie ad, he would
hmm
be specifically an Abercrombie ad.
no, he's too friendly looking for an Abercrombie ad.
I think he could look really bitchy though.
Uh, I see him more as like a Hollister or a PacSun model. I just do.
Okay, or
Probably PacSun,
Hollister.
honestly.
I
Okay,
I,
we can.
I like Hol because there's more beach. There's more like beachy, like
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just
more waffle knit vibes.
I feel like Abercrombie is
This is why
like
neither
Dylan
of us
is
cast for. This is why neither of us do this for a living because we our time
Dylan
for
is
the same
too
man.
like welcoming for Abercrombie.
Okay, so who has the biggest? I always thought like the American Eagle people had way more attitude
Mm-mm.
than like.
No, I'm sorry. Abercrombie is the store that sometimes had shirtless men who just stood in the store.
I think Dylan would be perfect for that. He's a hockey guy. He just doesn't.
He's no, because he's not. He's like he's got that all American like golden retriever
So
energy. I
you
know
want
he's
him running up
Canadian,
the
but you know what I
beach?
mean.
You want him running up
Yeah.
the beach with like a football or like a
Yeah, and then he
soccer ball?
tosses that hair and smiles at you. Yeah.
I think he could do print work. I think he
I
could do
think he
print.
could do print work too, but I think it's like active print work. It's not like standing there shirtless with a like blank look on his face.
He is multifaceted, and I think that he would do well in any of these now not as relevant brands. I mean, arguably.
Um,
But yeah, so Dylan, he's obviously someone who is attractive to Marco and he is not being shy about it, but no one sees this except for like maybe Ellie. I think Ellie's
right.
just in her own world right now. But
She's got a book. She's good.
she's good. She's like, you play, I'll read because they play volleyball. And Spinner is just oddly like inserting himself in all of this. All of this. I hate Spinner so much in this episode.
Yes,
It's
Spinner
so he's
sucks in
so
this
bad. The
episode.
fact that he has to like he the fact that Marco wants to exist without being up Ellie's ass while they're roasting marshmallows and weenies after their little frolicking in the sand. He's like, "Oh, go be your boyfriend. Why do you need to do that as a friend?"
Because I mean, I think it comes down to for like it's homophobia. It's he knows on
Oh,
some level he
oh
knows.
yeah.
He's
He's
known
like
since season 2,
he
and it's
does.
like
But it's
I don't know
so
why he
the
so desperately
reaction
needs to force Marco out of the closet.
that's what it is. It's like I know what you are. Like I can tell you're different. So like
Say it.
yeah, say it out loud.
Homosexual.
Out loud. Homosexual. Answer me one basic question. What do we eat? Ass.
Avis, you are spicy this morning.
Clearly, the fucking Twilight group on Facebook has corrupted me. I usually don't go there so early in the morning because they're so vulgar. But I exited out of that tab. But yeah, Spinner's the worst, and I mean, it's just
It's so
sucky
shitty.
because Marco's just minding his fucking business. So Dylan invites them because he is a hockey player. So Dylan invites them to some there's the it's mentioned what the name of this thing is, but it's some sort of like qualifier, something
It's like a
sportsy.
qualifier or like a scrimmage or
A
something. It's a
something
big deal. Dylan's playing.
it's a big
It's
deal.
hockey,
It's hockey.
and
We don't
it's high school
it's
hockey,
yeah.
which I suspect is a big deal in Canada. The way that
I
like high
think
school basketball is huge in Indiana.
yeah, I would wager that. I would definitely wager that.
I
So
mean
I mean,
college ball too, but like I know so many people who like go to basketball games on Friday nights.
Yeah,
If
right.
there's
It's a
somewhere's playing basketball, they
Yeah,
are gonna.
they're just gonna go. Yes, that's it's kind of like that more in PA than it is here where I moved in Jersey. But I mean, definitely like that still. It's like yeah, it's a thing the community participates in. It's a very kind of like that kind of
Yeah,
sport. But yeah, so I mean, they're doing that. They're gonna go. There's 4 tickets. They're gonna go. All four of the guys. So it's definitely okay. And also, Craig and I think I mentioned Craig and Ashley were invited here. They just wouldn't fit in. It's good that they didn't go. Why would they? Why
yeah,
were
they
they
couldn't
invited?
come because they're babysitting Snake and Angie.
Yes, and I'm glad they're not there. But
But it is cute that Ashley's like integrated into the group again.
it
Ellie's
is.
integrated into the
She
group
looks like
again. Where
she's
the fuck is
alive
Terry?
again. Where
Where
the
is Tara
fuck is
Bear?
Terry? Where is Terry? Where is Terry?
Do you
Now
think
I'm
Paige was
irate.
just like, I can
No.
picture, I mean, not this iteration of Paige, although unless she's feeling bitchy for the day. But
Oh
like, I can see
God.
Paige being like, hey, Tara, we're going to the beach this weekend. And like, of course, you're totally welcome to come, but we all
But we're all gonna
understand if you
sit.
don't want to be like in a bathing suit around us. Like, we get
Oh my
that.
God. The less bitchy version of that would be oh we're all we're all kind of paired up. Like, Marco's got Ellie and I've got Spin and Hazel's kind of eyeing Jimmy. We'll see what happens. And it's Craig and Ashley too. So we don't want you to feel like the odd one out. Like, but you're still totally, we love you. You're still totally welcome to come. I have flashbacks of being told, we love you. Socially and PTSD. But no, where the fuck is
I'm just
Terry? So rude.
I'm never gonna forgive Paige. Like Paige goes a lot, love her forever. But like some things cut deep and
Part of you is just
I
like,
would so totally wear that skirt
if I were a
if I was a
plus.
plus.
Like, bitch. Yeah.
Paige Milkelchuk. Fuck
Paige
that.
Milkelchuk. Yeah, no, I think it's pretty much likely that one of those scenarios occurred. A bitchy phone call was launched, and for whatever
Oh,
reason, Terry
I bet
Bear
it
is not
happened
here.
at the lockers, like
Or oh, damn, a
on third
confrontation
like
that
no, it
sucks.
wasn't like a confrontation. It was just like casual conversation. Hazel was probably there.
Maybe she's doing her makeup. Oh gosh. But she for whatever reason she's not there. But toxic masculinity is there instead. So I
In full
fucking
force.
fucking Spinner. He just won't let Marco live. And it's just kind of compounded to where he's like, okay, after it's revealed that he's no longer dating Ellie, he's like, okay, you got to move on. You got to stay strong. Who you interested in? He's like, I don't know. I guess Hazel, because she's the only other girl in our friend group. And I mean, why not? Fuck it. And he's like, great. She's a living, breathing pussy. Where like, let me go fucking set this up. Like, I don't know. It's just so cringe. It's so
It's very
cringe.
cringe. It's very um and I think it's like it's more understated but like but still obvious, but like Jimmy really fucking shines in this episode. Jimmy knows
Oh,
too.
yes, he does.
Jimmy's known forever. Jimmy's known as long
Yeah.
as Spinner's known. Marco's not hiding it well.
He's really like, I mean, fashion wise, he's 100 footer. Like, he's literally has
Fashion
an
wise,
extendable
like
mirror, like aesthetic wise, and just like, I think the way he
okay,
carries himself in a certain way.
have you seen 40-Year-Old Virgin?
And not in a long time, but yes.
There's a part like the night that like he hangs out with his coworkers and then they realize that he's a virgin
Yeah.
and like he's talking about hooking up with a girl one time which did not happen
Yeah.
and they're asking him about her boobs and he compares them to big bags of sand and it's like
Yes.
very clear he's never felt a boob before and like that
Yeah.
confrontation when he's like we made out all night it was awesome or whatever
Mhm.
is similar vibes.
Absolutely.
Marco's not like Jimmy
We
knows,
made
and
out for
Jimmy's just
like
like we're gonna come
ever.
to it when we
Mhm.
can, and and I think Jimmy does a good job of like sticking up for Marco, but not making a spectacle of it.
Exactly.
Like he pushes back
Yes.
against Spinner, but not too hard.
Right. He's not trying to make it like he's not trying to make it a thing.
Right.
He's taking it because he's an observant person, and he's not gonna blow up his fucking spot like that.
And it's not that he's not trying to make it a thing because he doesn't want a spectacle. It's that he knows that that's not what Marco needs.
No, Marco doesn't, and
And
I
I
mean
love
he's
that.
just not
Because
ready.
Jimmy's all for calling Spinner out on anything.
Oh, he's
Even when
I
they're friends,
was.
Jimmy loves to be mean to.
No, seriously. It's that dynamic would be perfectly suited to him, like clapping him the fuck back hard, but like it's just not what is in Marco's best interest. And that is a big reason why Jimmy is such a good friend, but in a way that Marco needs at this point. And like he's his safe place, and I love that. I love that for them. Their friendship is so fucking like it grows from here, but it's so fucking cemented here of like
Mhm.
I can trust you, like you're gonna protect me when it comes down to it. Like he runs, I mean, okay, that I don't think it's too jumping too far ahead, but he runs to once he knows
To the
that he
park
to the
once he
park
figures
once he
out,
figures out that that's where Marco is.
because he like hears the
There's
sirens or whatever,
sirens and
right? Yeah.
yes, and he's already
No.
like outside of the stadium, and I mean this the park is not far from the stadium, for the rink, the hockey rink where they are. But it's like, I mean, it's a big building. Like it's, I think it's some sort of wherever they have a big rink for viewing games.
that
I am obviously not a winter sports person, guys. But yeah,
that scene in the park is so terrifying.
it is. I
Like it's what, like five grown ass adult men.
and they're big. They're like
Yeah.
they're like these dudes are little like wimpy ass bitches for real, but they're rather large in stature.
Right.
So they really do kick his ass
Mm-hmm.
in a
No, and
way. Like it really feels like authentic to the way that like that sort of situation would happen. It's a lot of taunting and lead up, but it's like a lot of fear too. Like there is
mm-hmm.
just a lot of threat laced in everything that happens to him, and it's
It's
really
well,
sad.
right, because that's the kind of thing where like, yeah, these are the kind of dudes who are gonna enjoy like kicking the shit out of you, but it's way more about the scaring you. And
Yeah.
it's the kind of thing where like it could have stopped before they laid a hand on him,
Mhm.
and it's still traumatizing as fuck.
Absolutely. Cuz I mean it's still like we're attacking you because you are being outward about y- you're being outward about your sexual preference and who you are. Like
Well,
it's very much like we want to silence you. We want to make you not feel so comfortable in your skin and feel so
mhm,
comfortable being like outward about it.
yeah.
Cuz like the way he's dressed is like not un like outside of the realm of what someone would wear in a maybe a different place. Like I don't know, like different places where there's more of a presence of like art, I would
Right.
say.
No, it's
Like
not.
it's
It's
just,
that
but
he comes from Boys Town
yes,
because he.
it's his Protestant,
It's
yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah. And they figure because he's yeah, yeah.
And honestly, he probably could have been wearing anything.
He could have been wearing anything. His outfit is beautiful though. It's fly.
Yeah.
He's dressed to the nines to go to a hockey game.
Where his crush is playing.
The fact, but no, I mean, it's funny to say that though, because even to say it like he's dressed like that to go to a hockey game, you know that he's never been to a hockey game in his life. You
Hmm.
know that he's not a sports person. Like I would never dress like that to go to a hockey game. Number one, I'm gonna be cold. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
most likely wear a hoodie and some sweatpants. Like I'm not gonna be, or like some fur, like some joggers, something that's gonna keep me warm. He is wearing like his going out outfit. He looks like he could be going to the club, but I mean, obviously he's not old enough for. He'd have to go to one of those 16 and up clubs or whatever. But he looks like he should be going to Boys Town. Like
Hmm.
that's, and I think that's I mean, that's just Marco's character. It works with his character, but I think it's also telling to be like, this is where he belongs, and he looks like he's dressing for where he belongs. Like he's not wearing the jersey anymore. He's not pretending to be a fan. He's just being
Hmm.
himself, and he's going to the hockey game.
Yeah, and it's the first time we really see Marco. I feel like finding his fashion.
Mhm.
He's been really stumbling in it before.
Yeah.
Before now.
Yeah, he's trying
Um,
to not fully embrace it, but he's got the hat, he's got the collar, he's got the jeans, he's got those shoes. Like you could tell he's feeling himself, and it's just like, oh, it's so devastating to just for him to really, like you said, be embracing it after stumbling on his true fashion, like what he's putting out there,
and then the first time he kind of like lets himself out into the
and
world,
breathe. Yeah, let himself actually just relax and be himself.
he
He's yeah,
and like no, that scene is scary.
it's very
They could
scary.
have hurt him so much more.
Yeah. I mean, I feel very lucky to not have experienced anything like that. I think as
Hmm.
a woman, a cis woman, I definitely don't, and I'm a femme, even though I don't always dress like it. I say I dress like a little boy. I mean, I know I've seen those videos, and I wholeheartedly agree that I'm either a 12-year-old boy or like a hooker. Like that's like those are my
Those are
two
your two looks.
those are my two looks. Like, and I'll throw in onesies in there because like I those are really my two looks. And I've never
I would say
been.
onesies fall into 12-year-old boys and some hookers.
That's fair. Well then, yeah. I I just definitely have never felt threatened in dressing how I cared to dress that day. And like I have always kind of felt like I needed a woman or a man to tip me, like they say in the L word. Jenny, one of the characters is like, "Okay, do me. What do you think I am?" And they're like, "No, you need a man or a woman to tip you either way. It's just impossible to tell." Um, and she's like, "Fuck," and I always, I always feel like that. It's just, I mean, I've been privileged to not be 100 footer, like I would say Marco is, and in the community of the queer community, 100 footer just means you can tell that person's queer by seeing them in a crowd. They're just very
Like the way
obvious.
they dress, the way they carry
The way
themselves,
they carry
the
themselves, their vibe, their aesthetic. It's just like some people are just like ooze it, and they're like, I just love
and that's
ooze, and
fine.
that's fine. I wish I oozed it. I think I'm getting better with my ooze as I mature into my lesbianism, my queerness. I think it gets better with age, but initially I felt the need to just be like super like I'm gonna put out there that I like lick pussy. I was just like just dropping in casual conversation, like, yeah, hey. it was
Love
very
that for you.
it was very aggressive for a while, but no, I think it more I've just being able to be comfortable in your queerness and your sexuality is something that I think a lot of people take for granted, and it's wasn't safe and still isn't safe. I think it's gotten safer um in
Hmm.
certain metropolitan areas, like it's safer to like there's more protection, there's more
I think there
there
is and there isn't.
there is and there isn't. It depends it depends, because
It's
I
a
would say
scary
like
time to be a person right now. I
it's a
feel
scary
like, and
time to
it's an
be a person, yeah.
exceptionally scary time to be a queer person.
I think that that's kind of like my thinking is I'm always like, okay, a lot of people are going through things where I just can't even imagine being persecuted for any of one of my identities specifically because I've just been so lucky. Um but I think the time is increasing to more where I'm like that I'm just getting away statistically, like something's, and maybe that's my anxiety where I'm like maybe something's going to happen to where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna feel differently. But I've been able to travel overseas recently with my partner and not feel like we were at risk, like anyone was looking at us like as a queer couple and like wondering, or were we sisters or anything. Like we were very obviously a couple, and I didn't feel threatened or like looked down upon, or it just, I feel very, very lucky, very blessed, because that's just not a lot of people's experience, and it's just not safe for a lot of people. And I might slip into a position where I'm not safe, and I just have to kind of take it moment by moment. Like it's not always something that was consistent. I was not sure, at some points, but it was an overall like, yeah, I was fine. There was never points where like I wonder like, oh, we're two women, is someone going to try to like overtake us physically? But then I also, they see my girlfriend and they think that, some people think that she's like a man, even though her breasts are very prominent, and like she's obviously a woman. I don't know. Maybe there's some things that people think they can't like take her, which they would be correct. It's possible. But either way, no, I just feel for Marco and like his brief like reaching for acceptance of himself, and then to just be so violently like rejected from that. It's
It,
devastating.
it is. It is. And I think it doesn't fix it at all.
Mhm.
But the way that Jimmy comes through, I think having that immediate like love and acceptance from somebody that like, Jimmy
Yeah, no.
hasn't telegraphed to him that he's going to be a homophobic asshole about it the way that Spinner has been.
Yeah.
But he
Right.
still doesn't know. Jimmy might just be like, let this friendship fizzle out. And that hurts too. And
Yeah.
instead, Jimmy is like, nah, man,
He's
you're my
solid,
friend.
10
I
toes
love you. I
down.
am so fucking sorry.
Yeah. And I
And
mean,
I
like,
am
yeah,
like,
it's a rejection like physically that those guys gave him, but then he's also like how you said, so Jimmy's literally 10 toes down for him. He's solid for him. And then Spinner on the other spectrum is the only person that he came out to, or chose, I mean, by some force, because I don't know if we mentioned, I don't think we did, but he leaves the date that Spinner sets up for him, the double date it turns out to be, with Paige and Hazel. And can I say, sidebar, that the movie that he's describing not only sounds like that one part in Kill Bill Volume 2, or was it Volume 1, whatever, I think it's Volume 1, but it's disgusting and not funny, not a funny joke. Like it's not,
yeah, it
it
was
doesn't make sense why they're fucking
very
cracking up
weird.
laughing. Yeah. um, but he makes up an excuse that he has to go help his mom make pasta sauce, and and Spinner chases him out of the date in a rage because,
We should just add the audio of that scene, I
yeah,
feel
we
like.
have to add it. And I mean, it's how we got our name.
You just walked out on a date with one of Degrassi's coolest girls for your mom's pasta sauce? It doesn't make sense. Yes, it does. Oh, yeah? Then stop crying and explain it to me, because obviously I'm a moron and don't get it. Because, man. Because what? Because I'm gay.
Because there's just no way that you walk out on a date with one of Degrassi's coolest girls for your mom's pasta sauce. You just don't do it.
I don't know. I bet that Mrs. Del Rossi makes some fucking fire marinara.
I would bet that as well. And like for me, you don't even need like all the meat in there if you just have a really good simple tomato sauce.
Mm.
So I'm gonna hope that there's not like, I'm gonna hope that the
Well, it's
preparation
marinara, so it wouldn't have meat
is,
in
oh,
it.
is it bolognese when you have the
Yeah.
meat? Oh, well, good. Thank you. Well, then marinara then. For my mozzarella sticks
But
and
no,
my
that date
pasta.
looks awful. That movie sounds
That
horrible.
movie
I feel
sounds
like
like a
Marco is
felony.
describing a bad movie, trying to be like, yeah, like, I'm not your vibe, Hazel.
Like these are the kind
I
of
like
films I
weird
see.
foreign movies.
And everybody else is just laughing because what? I don't know. Because Marco's laughing. I don't
I feel like Hazel's probably laughing because Marco's laughing.
probably
And I don't know. I mean, Spinner's motivations are whatever the fuck they are. He's
scattered and
still trying to
best.
push Marco out of the closet. So he's, Hazel's laughing. He's like, huh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, you guys have this in common. You know what? I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's a nightmare. That date is horrible. I would have walked
It
out on it.
is. It is. And I mean, I'm glad that we get that moment because it's iconic, but it also just really the way that he says it, it surprises himself, but it's not that he doesn't know, but just saying it out loud, I can say from experience is different than saying it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can tell yourself internally, okay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. But then to
Even
actually tell
standing and like looking
someone,
in the mirror saying it, which I
yeah,
would bet Marco has tried.
but
No,
to
it's super
tell someone who's real and a person that can walk away from you with this knowledge that you are gay, it's
and it's immediately all of his worst fears confirmed.
oh yeah, compounded I'd say too because fucking his
Mm-hmm.
friend writes that he's an FAG in the boys' bathroom in Sharpie,
Yeah.
rude ass
No, it's
bitch.
Spinner's so disgusting. Spinner is not only like I'm gonna walk away from you,
I'm
but
gonna
I'm going to
fucking
terrorize you and encourage others to do
yeah.
the same. It's so
It's
disgusting.
very disgusting. And I think I mean there's no surprise on where he's gonna land for us when we do our segment, our super
Yeah.
bummer segment. But it's just to me it feels like it's malicious and it's so
Oh, it's
rooted in fear
absolutely.
and it's rooted in just like rejection. It's like no, 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 I'm not gonna accept this from you. There's an acceptable realm and there's an unacceptable realm, and this is the unacceptable realm. And I just I can't stand that kind of behavior and I can't stand that thinking. It's so narrow-minded. They do a lot of rehab on this character. We have had Shane on the show, but I think I told him that Spinner was never really one of my favorites. He grows on me, but like Spinner just has so many times where I'm like, you are just such a fucking dick, dude, that I'm just like I need so much more to outweigh and like he gets the level head eventually, but this is just so
I think he's one of the most interesting characters. I think he's one of the most well written characters. I think he
yeah.
is one of the most frustrating characters.
Extremely frustrating. It's definitely one of the most frustrating watching experiences to watch him as a character, especially because the ending conversation that he's like, "Well, you haven't done anything yet, so you could just, date Hazel." It's like, "Dude, have you googled? Have you done any research? You
You know
like
he hasn't.
Ashley, he has not. You like Ashley, like I mean, maybe you need to get together and like she needs to teach you a thing or two about
Right.
research."
Spinner doesn't know how to do research. Spinner has never done research.
I'm just so sad. I'm just so sad. It just makes
It's
me like
this, yeah.
it's kind of an attack on me because I think every person who struggled with their sexuality thinks these things. There's a lot of internalized homophobia. There's a lot of like, okay, well, I haven't done a lot of people will make the argument, okay, you can um identify as this, but until you've done anything that doesn't mean you are a true gay person. That's not true, guys. You are able to identify as enjoying a particular um type of person and not have to ever sexually interact with that type of person. That's fine. That doesn't mean that you're any less of that identity, and I think that that's something that's super like for me that I felt the need to like say watching that scene of him being like, "Oh, you haven't done anything yet. You haven't done the gay, so you can't. You're not gay." Like that's not true. Like Marco is gay because that's who he is. Not it's about who you are attracted to, not about who you're fucking.
That's that's the thing. And I think okay, it's the just hating something without any attempt to understand it. And if you take the time to try and understand a perspective and you still walk away with, nope, fuck you, that's wrong.
Hmm.
At least you took the fucking time. At least you have some understanding.
Yeah.
Spinner is just like, ew, penises are gross except for mine.
Literally. It's like what, like how does attraction work? But like I
Spinner,
like girls, so and girls do it for me. So how does that work with like guys and other guys? I mean, literally
I
Dr.
think
Sally
Jimmy
out
asked that
here
question, but
um
still.
did he? Oh, Spinner was back there cringing. I thought it was Spinner. But it literally like the fact that Dr. Sally out here doing the Lord's work because like she's like the same way that like attraction happens for you. Like that's what they like. That's what people who are attracted to other like someone that's not just a binary. Like
Yeah.
there are different Spinner would really struggle into this version of Spinner would really struggle in the to navigate I would say
Anything.
anything that's not a binary would just be a fucking struggle for this young man at this point in his life. But it's thank God for Jimmy. Like, thank you for this man in this episode. He is exactly what Marco needs. I feel like Marco would just have no footing if it wasn't um for Jimmy. There would be no refuge from the fact that Spinner's a fucking terror
Yeah.
and that the world
Should
has now proven itself to be cruel to him. But yes, we should now segue.
segue into, let's move it to your favorite corner. I feel like you're gonna have a lot to say this week.
Yes, I did. I feel like we need to, I need to actually get those screenshots. I don't think I have them, but I have mine written down. I think it is on the intro that Ellie is giving like Sweeney Todd vibes on the beach. She's
Yes.
giving me Sweeney Todd vibes. And I mean, I always say she's serving slight steampunk in these early episodes with some pieces, but I also like that Dylan and Marco are both wearing varsity like numbers in the beach scene. I'm like, oh, I love when they dress people to match, like, because they're gonna be a couple. And why did he roll up those pants, Marco? That is a fashion. Don't get some
Because he's not
capris.
out of the closet yet. He's not out
God,
of the closet.
I am so glad that I realized I don't have to fucking cuff a jean ever again. I don't have to wear jeans again, and I don't have to cuff them. Anyway, I'm mad
Um,
about that.
I loved, and you and I have talked about this top because I want to make you one,
Yes,
but I
yes,
love Paige's fucking beach outfit and that
I do
beautiful
too.
crochet top.
I just noticed that which was so in at this time, her top button was unbuttoned and it's like folded over to do
Mm-hmm.
that like low rise look, like a little bit more emphasis on it. I'm like, I love Paige's whole outfit. Yes, iconic for a fucking
Mm-hmm.
because like that crochet is going to provide some more comfort and coverage. Like you're warmer, but you could still show some skin because it's cold out there. Like
Mm-hmm.
I strongly believe it's
Yeah.
cold as fuck. Um, na-na-na-na-na-na. Obviously, Marco's outfit when he goes to the hockey game on the way. I talked about a little bit in the deep dive. He's just serving the hat, the fact that his shirt is starched. I like the I like the material, not the material, the print on the shirt, and I really like his shoes. It's just a sad outfit because we know what really happened, but and I have to give an honorable mention for Paige's styling of her jersey going to the game.
Mm-hmm.
I love her. I love that she just couldn't just wear it straight. She's like, I've got to jazz it up a little bit. Do you have any more?
I'm looking.
Okay.
I think Marco, there's a certain charm to Marco in the Maple Leafs jersey.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, he is. He's a sweet pie. He looks so small. He looks so small in that jersey, though. That's my only downside to it. He just looks so small. SMOL.
He really does. He really does. And it's cute.
It's
He's got his
cute.
little puka shell necklace, right?
Mm-hmm. I, lo- I love Marco. I love him. He's so sweet. Oh gosh. I love Emma's woman symbol earrings. She's wearing the woman symbol. You're there's another word for it that it's not that I'm gonna say, and it's probably not the right word, so I won't say it. And I think that's it.
So we've got Huns this episode, three of them actually.
Okay, yeah, got a lot of courage.
Um, so when Paige shows up at the dot and she realizes that Marco's not there, and she says, "Okay, hun, get over it already."
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also when they're at the beach, and Marco goes to put his arm around Ellie, and she's weird about it because they're not together anymore, and it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Hun, it's okay. He's your boyfriend."
Mm-hmm.
And then also this one I'm gonna lead us into shots fired with because it's one of mine.
Okay.
Um, but and it's actually my only shot fired just because
Okay.
I don't know, I had to kind of tune out all of the negativity of this episode, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
to a degree. Um, and a
Oh
lot of it was
yeah.
just,
That's
you know.
my first one too, so perfect.
But she says they pick up Marco and Ellie, and she's like, "Ellie, hun, I thought vampires couldn't go out in the sun."
So good, such a good burn, such a good burn. And then her response, the look that she gives is she's so exhausted by Paige already. But yeah, that's a great segue into shots fired from the Hun count. Pew pew
Pew
pew
pew pew
pew
pew
pew pew
pew.
pew.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I've got a couple. Okay, so my first one is Manny saying our routines are so 2001. um my next one is Jimmy saying, "So what are you going to write next? Something about me being black?" Which is a heavy one, but it is a shots fired nonetheless.
It is a strong shot fired.
Um and my last one is good old Pagey Poo saying, "Nice to know someone in your family has a sense of humor, Emma." That is it. That is it for our beautiful shots fired for this episode. Uh
Um, I feel like super bummers are super easy, so let's take it there first.
oh, super bummer's very easy. Obviously, the crown goes to fucking Spinner, Reginald Mason. Cause what the fuck, Gavin, Reginald Mason, whatever.
Spinner Reginald Mason sounds so weird.
It does. Spinner, Reginald. Somebody carried a baby for 9 months to name him Spinner. No,
They didn't. They named him
they named him
Gavin.
Gavin. His name is Gavin. Gavin Reginald Mason. How dare you? And how fucking dare you again? You get the crown for being a super fucking bummer. No one came close to you. So
Yeah, no, not
I don't
really.
have anybody else who's on the roster. I think just to be like, a punctuation, like a damn period at the end of the sentence.
Hmm.
That's it. So yeah, I'm good for that. And our shining stars, obviously, Jimmy Brooks.
Jimmy Brooks really came through. I think the Jimmy didn't do anything spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy did what a friend should do.
Yeah,
The impact of that was everything. Was life saving, I
absolutely.
think, in that moment.
He was just right. He was just being a friend, but sometimes just being a friend and showing up, and like that's everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Like
No.
it's there cannot be understated how much it means. Um
Mhm.
and I know if Marco were a real person, he would struggle to articulate what that meant to him, Jimmy being there for him at that point. So yes, he is
Mhm.
a shining star. And I mean, I want to always have a soft side for Snake. I think I put him in the honorable mention because fucking learning you have a possible like life-threatening disease is hard, and being strong for your family and not spiraling into fucking depression, even if you do, that's still honorable. I'm not saying that like, oh, he would be a bummer if he spiraled into depression, but still being being Snake about it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciated the way that he handled it, and it just made me smile, even though he was going through fucking the hardest thing that his characters had to go through in this in this series.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Marco too. Coming out
Of
as hard and
course,
scary,
of
coming
course,
out in um, being forced out
yeah.
is shitty. And spoiler alert, this isn't gonna just completely ruin his life and have him just magically turn straight. Um, Traumatizing people straight is not a thing. Don't
It's
do it.
not a thing. It really isn't.
Um, but he does. He bounces back. He's like, fuck this. No, this is who I am. I'm not gonna be scared. Fuck the spinners of the world. I guess there's only one question left, right? Did you have any more shining stars?
I I'll throw Craig in there. I think he more as an honorable mention just because I appreciate that he went with his gut and vocalized to Emma. I do think that it was important that Snake wasn't in it alone. I do wish that fucking Spike was involved and she was given a storyline, but whatever. Um, so I'm
Amanda just didn't want to work that week. She had something going on.
she truly must have. But yeah, so I'm gonna throw Craig in there for just being once again being a decent Craig. He's gonna get an honorable mention because the bar is high this week, in my opinion, for Shining Stars. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Without Craig, Snake could have ignored the fact that he had leukemia for a little longer.
correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think with that, like you've already hinted at, there's just one more question to ask, and it is, does it go there?
Does it go there?
I mean, I think that that's an easy yes. I don't feel the
Obviously,
need
it's
to
an
justify my
I don't
answer.
need
A
no
plot goes there, B
justify
plot
it.
goes there.
Yeah, we've got both the A and the B plot going there this week. So yeah, no arguments from me. We're good.
Thank you for listening to your mom's podcast. Next week, we're going to be watching Gangsta Gangster, which is the beginning of Sean's criminal era.
This episode of Your Mom's Podcast was made possible in part by the Toronto Maple Leaves, Boys Town, and support from listeners like you. If you'd like to further support our show, you can find us on TikTok and Facebook as Your Mom's Podcast. We also have a Facebook group of the same name. And you can find us on Instagram at YMPadcast. Your Mom's Podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscriptions and reviews are another great free way to support us. However, if you're interested in supporting us in not free ways, we have a lot of great bonus content on our Patreon, and some great merch at our shop, which can be found at your-moms-padcast-shop.fourthwall.com. And remember, that's Padcast. PAHDCAST. Thank you.
We would like to say a thank you to our Patreon subscribers:
Octavia Faith
Margot Mancini, June Bard,
and A-Butts.
and a very special thank you to our Titty Snake producer, Alika Fenderson.
Thank you so much for supporting the show, guys.
Thank you. Ew, I hate how I said thank you. Thank you.